If right now you're broke, or worse, you are in debt, and one of your goals in life is to become a millionaire, I can guarantee that this video is going to completely change your life. I personally wasn't in debt, but I was broke and depressed just a couple years ago. Fast forward to today, and I'm running a profitable online business, and I am loving my life. So grab a pen and a notebook, or open up a new tab in Notion and take some notes, because I'm about to reveal the 8 steps that you need to follow if you want to get a chance at becoming a millionaire in 5 years or even less. Step number 1, you need to wake up. The first thing on your journey that you need to realize and accept is that your current situation is your responsibility. Now, I'm not saying that it's automatically your fault, because there is a big difference between being the one to blame for something and being the one who's responsible for something. To give you an example, let's say your car breaks down. Is it your fault? Did you cause it? Not necessarily. However, is it your responsibility to deal with the situation, to fix the issue? Of course it is, because no one is going to come, knock on your door and fix your car for you for free. Plenty of people choose to assume the victim position in life. They complain about outside circumstances, about things out of their control, and they use that as an excuse to not move forward, to not put in the work even if they are in a disadvantaged position. Understand that no one is coming to save you, and the system is also made to keep you exactly where you are. And as if it wasn't bad enough already, your own brain does not care about seeing you reach your own goals. Why? Because its job is to help you to survive no matter what. And the most efficient way to do that is to prevent you from taking any risks, because your brain is going to see any potential threat, any potential risk that you take as something that could prevent you from surviving. You've got to realize that the mind usually quits way before the body does. We see that happen every time when we exercise. Oftentimes we think we're giving it our everything, that we can't push more. In reality, we can often do 2 to 3 more reps. If you're running, oftentimes you can run 1 more mile, 1 more kilometer. And I read recently in this book, The Personal MBA, there's an entire chapter on how the mind works. And in it, the author gives the example of a study that studied ultra-marathoners to see how close they were to their physical limits when running. Their body was sending them signals to stop, but in reality, upon analyzing their bodies, they realized that they were not even close to being in danger physically. It's just that the brain is going to send those signals, you're going to feel that pain, to trick you into quitting way before your body does. It's a way to self-preserve. So when they say that most of it is mental, it's actually quite true. So make a commitment to yourself right now. From this moment forward, you'll do whatever the hell you need to do to get out of the tough situation that you're in right now, even if you have to work extremely hard and to sacrifice for it. Step 2, believe in yourself, because no one will. No one believed in me when I started to go to the gym and to weigh my food, to track my macros and my calories. No one believed in me when I started my own business. It's only when I started to get the results I wanted that people became more supportive, that they started to like the idea and recognize it had value and potential. So if no one is willing to believe in you right now, do yourself a favor and be your own biggest fan. Sometimes someone will believe in you more than you believe in yourself. That's true, that can happen. But it's kind of like relying on luck to become rich. It's a very stupid thing to do. Do not rely on somebody else believing in you to put in the work it's going to take to become successful. If you believe in yourself, you can honestly go so much further than you think. Understand that people and events will test you. It's only your strong will to go through anything to get what you want, and to refuse to quit even in the face of adversity, that will allow you to get what you want. When you're just getting started and you have nothing to show for yet, no results, people will ask you, are you really sure this is what you want? Maybe you should do something else. This other option looks safer. You might work every day, 8 hours a day, let's say. You don't get a client. You've reached out to 1,000 people, still no responses. What do? Do you just quit? That is life testing you. So you want to stay strong and keep persevering, because one day you will have that breakthrough moment. Understand that most of the time in life, growth is not linear. It's actually quite exponential, meaning for a long while, you're not going to see any results whatsoever. And then boom, one day you get this massive spike, and now results are coming in. Step 3, save as much money as you can. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I'm not like those people who is going to say, if you want to get rich, you need to save every dollar, every penny, and never ever, heaven forbid, spend $5 on a Starbucks coffee, because you could make it at home for 50 cents instead. I don't believe in this approach. Saving until you retire, slowly investing, and one day, maybe you'll finally be able to retire, when you're old, and be able to enjoy life. Come on. However, let's face it, when you're broke or in debt, cash is really important. So what you want to do is to sell things that you don't use. Stop wasting money on stupid things that right now you don't physically need. Cut down costs and expenses. Now, the goal is not to save just to save. The goal is to save to start your own business, because making more money is truly what will allow you to become wealthier. You can save as much as you want, but at the end of the day, it's not going to multiply on its own. And fair enough, you could invest it in the stock market, but do you really want to have to wait 30 years to finally become wealthy? If you're interested in starting your own online business, but you have no clue where to start, I've recorded a free video in which I'm going to analyze every popular online business model. Together, we'll take a look at the pros, at the cons, and I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3 steps 2-step process that you can start using today to get your first customers and as quickly as possible. The link is in the description below. I personally grew up surrounded by low-income people, and I can't even tell you how many of them were living in absolutely horrible situations, in tiny apartments filled with filth, eating pasta for every meal. Yet somehow they had the latest iPhones all of the time. That goes to show you that their priorities were all out of whack. If instead they had saved up that money, tried to start an online business, or even invested in the stock market, trust me, they would be in a much better financial situation currently. Step 4. Resist temptation. If you're in debt or if you don't have that much money, now is not the time to go out of your way to spend money on stupid things that you don't need right now. That comes back to the example I just gave you. Do you really want to have the latest iPhone when you eat pasta for every meal and you live in a small tiny apartment filled with filth and dirt? And yes, that applies even if it's what experts call good debt, meaning debt that you take to, let's say, invest in real estate, in the stock market, or in starting a brick and mortar business. Because believe it or not, but investing in real estate is actually a full-time job. You're starting from nothing with a very small amount of money to invest, and you are going to be competing against the top dogs of the industry, corporations with billions of dollars to invest. And you still hope to win? Don't expect to start investing in real estate as a side hustle and magically get rich. Becoming rich is not some kind of a fluke, and in fact most millionaires are self-made. And while we can argue on what it means exactly to be self-made, to be considered self-made you need to have received at least no money from inheritance. So most millionaires had to work for it in some way. And at Consulting Fastlane, we help our members go from 0 to 6 figures a year with their consulting business as quickly as possible. That is the goal. If you want to hear more, there's the free video in the description. Step 6. Understand what money really is and how it actually works. Now you might think that this is a ridiculous statement. Understand what money is and how it works? I know what money is. In reality, most people have a distorted view of money. They think they understand it when they really don't, and the proof lies in their bank account. In movies and in popular media, rich people are often portrayed as evil. In reality, you'll find the same proportion of malicious people within the rich and also within the poor. It has nothing to do with the size of your bank account and everything to do with who you are as a person. If you look at things from an objective point of view, you'll quickly realize that money is simply a tool we use to measure exchanges in value. Money is the reason why when you go to the supermarket, you don't have to exchange your coat for some veggies and some fruits. Money derives from value. You don't buy something if you don't find any value in it whatsoever. You're not going to give somebody free money, are you? Even when people give to charity, it's because they find some value in it, some gratification in it. They feel like they've done something positive. Helping somebody is a very gratifying feeling. And this is exactly why so many people just go wrong when they start a business solely on their passion. Because they simply focus on what they want, on themselves, they're often not going to sell something which is valuable enough for people to spend money on. Of course, it's better if you are passionate about what you do. It's going to be easier to stick through the tough times. But passion is not a requirement. Rather, it's a byproduct of what you do, of doing something well and being paid well for it. Because I can tell you that even if, let's say, you love playing the guitar, for 3 years, you start a business around your passion. You try to make it work as hard as possible. You're constantly recording tutorials of playing this song and this song, but it's been 3 years you've made $10. Trust me when I say that the chances of you hating playing the guitar are extremely high. Because at some point, when you do something for long enough, you don't get any results. It's extremely disappointing. So all passion fades away. When we're passionate about something, it's usually also because we are naturally good at that thing. Unlike most people think, motivation often comes from gaining results. Step 7. Start your own business. Now, technically speaking, you have 4 main paths to becoming rich. You can win the lottery. Now, good luck if you're trying to go down this path, and I often say that if you were actually lucky enough to win the lottery, you would not have needed to win the lottery anyway. You'd be born in a rich family. And relying on luck to become wealthy, to start a profitable business, it's a terribly foolish idea, and trust me, you will pay the price for it. Now, the other way is to find a high-paying career and to slowly climb the corporate ladder decade after decade. Now, as you can see, it's a difficult, long and tedious process. You won't even obtain location freedom, time freedom, you're not going to pick your own hours most of the time, not to mention the stress and the pressure it's going to put on you. Working 80 to 90 hours a week for decades on end, it's going to strain you. We're not meant to handle such workload. And that's without saying that not everyone is going to be granted the same opportunities. With a regular job, your opportunities are tied down most of the time to your geographical location. A lawyer in New York has so many better opportunities than a lawyer in India. Now, path number 3 is to invest as much money as possible every month in the stock market, all of your life. Again, you'll be rich when you're almost dead, so that's nice, but I mean, isn't there a better way? And that is why path number 4 is the path that I'm following, and it's the best path. It's to start your own business. It doesn't have to be an online business per se. However, if you decide to start a traditional brick and mortar business, a gym, a restaurant, a nightclub, you'll need to come up with a lot of startup capital, $100,000 on average. And if you can't make your venture work, now you're massively in debt and you need to repay it all back. That means having a job that you probably hate and having to repay the loan on top of all of that. With a business, there is no limit to how much money you can make, and that is especially true with an online business. I mean, from from 1 year to the next, your income can literally 5x. With a job, it would be very difficult to achieve the same thing. So if you're interested in starting your own business, you have no clue where to start, I have recorded a free video in which I'm actually going to analyze every popular online business model. Together, we'll take a look at the pros, at the cons, and I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process that you can start using today to start your business and to get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description below. Step 8. Secure your income. Now you're starting to make some money with your business. You're slowly starting to pull yourself out of the gutter. And guess what plenty of people are going to do? Make stupid decisions and spend so much money on materialistic things. Now I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy anything which is materialistic. There's no point in being the richest of the graveyard. The entire reason why I started a business in the first place was to be able to afford a much better type of life for myself and for my loved ones. However, I'm going to give you a quick example. John makes $10,000 a month with his business. Let's say after tax, after costs, he makes $8,000 a month, flat. And now he starts to rent a supercar for $2,000 a month. Every other night he goes to the club, spends $1,000 on the most expensive bottles to impress people. He starts to wear designer clothes. He takes people out to dinner more often. He feels generous. After all, he's so successful. Surely he can pay the bill for the entire table. However, he's spending more and more money, and now he's completely in the red. He's going to lose everything. And the time that he spends driving his supercar, going to the club, going to dinner, because he hasn't built a proper structure yet, it's time and energy that he cannot put into focusing on his business. And so because he's less invested in his business, his customers are getting less results. So now they grow more and more dissatisfied. Now they're willing to pay him less, so it starts to make less money. Less and less people want to actually become his customers. And before you know it, he's spending $8,000 a month, making $5,000 a month. Now Mike also started his own business. He got to $10,000 a month after 8 months of patient hard work. But what he decides to do instead is to reinvest everything back in the business, to not take out anything for himself. Fast forward to a year later, Mike is now making $50,000 a month with his own business. And he's also enjoying a great lifestyle. He drives a nice car that he loves, he's able to take his loved ones, his friends, his family out to dinner a couple times a week, while John has lost everything because he was reckless. And now he's working at an entry-level job that he completely hates. He's miserable. He lost plenty of friends because they saw in him that he was just trying to pretend, trying to be something more than he really was. And now everybody thinks he's a fool. If you're currently in debt or broke, it's going to be difficult to become a millionaire. It's not necessarily impossible, but you have to be ready to put in a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, and to be patient. There's no other way out. But if you apply the 8 steps we have covered in depth in this video, your chances of actually getting out of that uncomfortable situation and becoming wealthier are much higher. Now, like I said, if you want to start your own online business, the link to the free video is in the description below.